Hello and welcome to Birdeye Live, the show dedicated to the digital transformation of local businesses everywhere. I am your host, Justin Meredith, and join me as we learn from industry experts about the how and the why for taking your business online and claiming the most valuable real estate on the internet, that first page of Google. Well, thank you all for tuning in today. We have a great discussion lined up. We are gearing up for our upcoming live panel discussion in the next installment of the Local Search Expert Series, The Impact of AI on SEO. And that's happening this week, this Thursday. We will be joined by a rockstar panel of SEO experts as they give us their breakdown of how artificial intelligent AI generated content is going to impact your SEO strategy, how using it will affect your ranking, and we're going to talk about the pros and cons of using it and how to use it properly. And so in addition to all of that, our panel of experts are going to give their tips on how to use it to help your SEO efforts. But before we dig more into that, I'd like to introduce today's guest speaker. And please join me in welcoming Avtar Madan, the Director of SEO here at Birdeye. Welcome, Avtar. Thank you for joining us today. How are you?
I'm doing good, Justin. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Well, I'm really glad that you're here. And because this is your first time joining us on Birdeye Live, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your experience, and how you ultimately arrived at Birdeye?
So, Justin, I have close to 2 decades of experience in digital marketing. And I've been observing digital industrialization for the past, say, 2 decades. So last 5 years primarily have been working in the SEO industry for various B2B companies. And that's when I came across Birdeye. And Birdeye is a great place to be. Birdeye, being a leading reputation management platform with 100,000 plus customers. I think the role is also pretty awesome. Help Birdeye, help local businesses grow. So yeah, it's a great place to be.
Awesome. Well, I'm really happy that you're here. We're going to be putting that 2 decades of experience to the test as we talk about SEO and we talk about how artificial intelligence that is really, it's been around for a while, but not until recently when it's really started to kind of hit the mainstream with this AI generated content. And so, but I think it's also, as I just said, it's not necessarily new. And we know that AI, machine learning, is not something that just came out of nowhere. It didn't just arrive when ChatGPT did late last year. It's been around for a while. So historically, what role has AI had in online search?
AI has been playing out in the past as well, as you just said. For example, if you search for a topic today versus if you would have searched for the topic, say 5 years back, you would see that the quality of answers today is far better than the quality of answers that were there 5 years ago, or even 2-3 years ago, and all thanks to AI. It is helping improve the quality of answers on Google search, and Google is using AI and has been using AI since the very beginning. Long way back, 2 decades back, when Google was just started, most of the search engines like Alta Vista, Yahoo, they had manual directory listings. And the competitive advantage that Google has, Google come up with something which is more of using the artificial intelligence, lot of links to point which is the right and correct answer for a query on google.com, and that's how Google built its competitive advantage. So I think AI has been playing a role significantly in the past. Now, there are various ways in which AI has been growing in the last, say, a few years. One of them is, say, information retrieval. Like I was saying, that Google uses an algorithm to kind of index and provide the answer to a query. So if you search for something like, say best pizza in town, so the AI algorithm, which is more of a rule-based algorithm, but an algorithm built on AI, would kind of provide you the result based on popularity as well as relevance of that web page. Another way I can think of, historical relevance of AI is natural language processing. This has been going on since a while. For example, if you search for capital of France, you would receive results which essentially talk about Paris, and none of those keywords would actually talk about capital of France. So that is how Google is understanding, with the help of natural language processing, that when someone is typing for uh, capital of France, the person actually means it's Paris. The third way, another way I can think of AI is your personalization. For example, if I'm searching for movie reviews, so the search results, the Google understands that I usually go to movie reviews website. So when I search for something next about a movie, it will automatically provide me a list of review sites on the top, because somewhere Google understands that I look for review sites. Another way, the AI has built is where the semantic search comes in, wherein, if you type Apple on Google, and it's a pretty well-known example, Google understands that if you're looking for a fruit apple or if you're looking for a tech company, which is Apple. Another way I can think of is the images. When you search for, say, cute puppies on Google, Google will provide you with images of cute puppies. But if you look at any of those web pages, in the meta information, in the meta tags, it doesn't really say that this image is about cute puppies. All it says that it's the image of a puppy. But with the help of AI, Google understands that this image is of a cute puppy, this image is of some other puppy.
Mhm.
And I think AI has been evolving in the last few years, and as we speak, it is still evolving. So what we are
Yeah.
observing is an AI revolution.
Yeah, and it's been, and I think the last 6, 7 months, especially with the launch of ChatGPT, and people, are seeing how that, you know, the ability that you have to be able to talk to a tool like ChatGPT and for it to kind of understand the context and like what you're trying to say, even if it's not exactly what you're saying in the actual keywords, is going to go a long way in helping with the personalization of those machine learning algorithms and stuff that Google is doing. Now, speaking of these new tools like ChatGPT and Midjourney, where you can create all kinds of text content and then image content on top of that, these tools are enabling people to be a lot more productive, and they're able to create a ton of content. So how do search engines like Google feel about AI generated content?
How do they feel? But before that, I'll tell you, there are close to 90 trillion web pages even before ChatGPT launched. That's the kind of immense number of pages that are out there. And there is a saying that whatever has to be said, Justin, has already been said. So the content, which you're about to create, it's already been created. If you search for any keyword, any topic, you will find n number of articles already written about that topic. So I think what matters is how differently you say it and how well you say it. Now, about your specific question, how Google thinks about it or how various search engines think about it, I think there are a couple of guidelines already in place. There are a couple of different perspectives. One of them is EEATU, which is about experience, expertise, authoritativeness, trustworthiness, and usefulness. And second perspective is about the information gain. So, what additional information your content is providing to the readers? which other content pieces are not able to provide. And Justin, there is already a patent for that. Google already has a patent on information gain. So I believe Google has already stated the guideline, and I think Google doesn't care what, who or what writes the content, as long as the content is high quality, original, helpful to the reader, and useful to the reader for their search intent. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's follow the guidelines, provide useful, relevant content to the user, which provides some additional information, and how well you write it and how
Mhm.
differently you write it is going to be game changer.
Mhm. So quality is definitely the priority to keep, even if you're using AI generated content to write, a huge blog, which is cool because you can write it super fast. But if it's not high quality, then it won't help you anyways. So
Absolutely.
how do you recommend using AI in your in a content strategy?
So I think of it in a way, and I heard this phrase from somebody, and I'll just quote it. We are like farmers, and AI is like tractor. So what I'm saying is that AI as a tractor and we as farmer, AI is just helping us do our job more efficiently, more effectively, and more productively. It's just that. In a way which where I have used AI, I can talk about myself. One of the ways in which I have used it a lot is looking for various topic ideas. So if I have a topic ready and I want to know more topic ideas, more title ideas, what could be the title tags for those topics? I'll just put it in Chat GPT, suggest me 10 topic ideas for this title, and it will come up with that. The other way, I can use and have used is to summarize the content. You can use tools like ChatGPT, Copy.ai, or Jasper to summarize the content, and it does the job very effectively. So if your competitor has an article and it's a long article and you don't want to really go through the bits and pieces of the article, you can just use the tool and ask the tool to kind of summarize it for you, and you can get the summary ready in a minute's time.
Mhm.
The other ways you can actually use it, but I have not used it really well, is the content research. You can put in a topic and you can ask ChatGPT to suggest similar topics within the topic cluster. Or you can use ChatGPT to answer for you who are the top publisher for that topic. One of the reasons I have not used it is because it's a little predated. It's
Mhm.
the database is updated till September 2021, and that's the reason I've not really relied upon it. As I said, quality is more important, and 1.5 year makes a lot of difference when it comes to content information and content quality. The other ways that it can be used is, and I'm sure it will be used in future when the Chat GPT-4 updates the browsing history to the real time. I think content research, you can research about content in real time. What are the trending topics? What are the exploding topics? You can create content briefs using Chat GPT. You can kind of throw in an idea and ask ChatGPT to kind of provide you with the outline of that article. For that matter, you can also use Jasper or Copy.ai. Lastly, and more, everyone is talking about that, which is content generation. You can just put in the outline and ask ChatGPT to create the article for you. But mind it, ChatGPT is going to refer to the article and the content which is already created. So, how do you
Mhm.
bring in a new perspective, a unique perspective, which is more useful to the reader, which is more engaging in the way reader is consuming that content, is what is going to make the difference. Content, as I said earlier, even before the launch of ChatGPT, we had 90 trillion pages. I think the game changer is how well you write it and how engagingly you produce that content.
Mhm. Yeah. And so something that, it sounds similar to what you were saying, as well as what I've also heard from other people, is that you really want to make sure that you use it as a tool, kind of like the farmer and the tractor. You use it as a tool to help you, not a crutch that you can just rely on completely and not really pay attention to the quality. Like you have to make sure you keep your human element to it, the original, you know, creativity thought that you have. Like for example, if you're writing a blog, you can help it to write, come up with a sentence here, or to help with the title. But when it comes to actually writing it and coming up with the original content that hasn't been created before or pulled from AI, you have to, you should really try to focus on doing that yourself. Now, what should businesses not do regarding AI generated content? Well, it looks like Avtar might be a bit frozen. So hopefully he can jump back on, or if he'll be able to rejoin. But while we wait for that to happen, I do want to give you guys a little bit deeper look into what we're going to be doing on Thursday. So on Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific time, we will be joined by SEO experts Steve Wiedemann, Ben Fisher, and Lily Ray. And they're going to be coming together live with us here to really dig into this topic of AI and the impact it's going to have on SEO. We're going to talk about how the search engines feel about it, how AI-powered search engines are going to be finding results for people, using that new technology. And we're going to give tips, and we're going to go over all the different ways that you can use AI, not just in AI-generated content, but AI different, just all kinds of different ways to help with your SEO strategy. And so if you register for this and you join, you're going to learn a lot about how to use it, how not to use it, and how to really approach it moving forward as this technology seems to be advancing faster and faster and faster. It seems like daily. But that's going to be a great conversation. It's going to be live. So you're going to be able to ask our panelists your questions. So you don't want to miss that. It's going to be a super engaging conversation. We're going to have lots of people joining in, lots of people asking questions. So you don't want to miss it. And even if you aren't able to attend live, you can still watch the recording later. So as long as you just register and save your spot, you'll get a link to that recording. Awesome. It looks like Avtar is back. So I'm going to see if I can add him back in. Awesome. Welcome back.
Yeah, sorry. There was some internet disruption at my end.
No worries. So I was just telling the people about this upcoming webinar, but right before we got cut off, I was asking you about what businesses should not do regarding AI generated content.
I think not following the guidelines that I just talked to you about, the two guidelines. One is the EEATU, which is experience, expertise, trustworthiness, authoritativeness, and usefulness. And second is the information gain. So just do not use the AI tools to generate the content at very fast speed. Do ensure that it meets the guidelines in terms of quality, relevance, and originality standards. Obviously, as Justin, you were saying, prioritize quality over quantity to maintain the brand's reputation and user trust. Remember that if your website has a high domain rating, then your risk is also higher if you do not maintain the quality. So the websites which are very high authoritative, which have very good domain authority, domain rating, I think they are at higher risk of using AI content if they do not ensure to maintain the quality. I think the third is, and then we have seen it, when Bard was launched, there is a possibility of misinformation. In the world of AI and ChatGPT, it is called as ChatGPT hallucination, when it can, with very confidence, provide you some inaccurate or misleading information. So I think as the creator of the content, as a publisher of the content, it is important to fact check and verify the accuracy of the content before publishing it, to avoid any spread of misinformation. Lastly, there is a possibility, because it's using a language learning model, LLM, so there is a possibility it will kind of repeat the keywords point and again. And that is when you have to ensure that the article is not really stuffed with content. It's not really similar to the existing content. It's not plagiarized. Because what I feel is just in the negative consequences are higher if you do not really do the quality check. That's what I feel. So by avoiding these pitfalls and using AI generated content responsibly, business can harness its potential of minimizing risk and maintaining a strong brand reputation.
Amazing. Yeah. So it sounds like follow the guidelines that Google laid out. And I don't think we have a link to that, but after this stream is over, I'll go and I'll find that link and I'll put it in the comments so the people here can check that out. Follow the guidelines that Google lays out and keep your quality high. If you do those two things,
Absolutely.
I think it'll really set you up for success. We did receive a question that we talked a little bit about, but we can go ahead and just pull it up here. And it's, will AI generated content perform well, or will it be penalized in the future? And Avtar, you were saying that right now, Google doesn't really care who creates it as long as that quality is high and it follows those guidelines. I'm not quite, what do you
Absolutely.
think in the
That's
future? Do you, because we've seen that there are some tools coming out where it can detect or at least give you a probability that, this piece of content was created by AI. Do you think something like Google will implement that, and will there be some sort of penalty for AI generated content, or do you think it's really just focusing on the quality?
I think the answer is a little more complex. Seeing the history of how Google has come up with guidelines, the answer is usually complex. It's not just about the AI written content. It's about the intent for which the content was written. If it was just written purely for the gain of indexing, so that you get indexed in Google, and the content is really not providing any useful information to the reader, I think that is where Google may come back and kind of announce that the site is penalized. So there could be a scenario, hypothetical. There could be a lot of case studies in few days and few months now that talks about that. We generated a lot of AI generated content, and we got indexed, and we are ranking, and we are generating traffic. And one fine day Google comes up and says that too much is too much, and everything comes crashing down. So I think just use it responsibly. That is more important. Use it with a purpose. Think of user as first. So write for user, not for search engines. If you're writing for a user, I think you're pretty well taken care of all the guidelines.
Awesome. Well, it looks like we are nearing the end of our time today, and I could talk about this stuff all day with you, Avtar. It's been a great conversation, and I want to pick your brain a little bit further, so I might message you after this call. And we didn't get a chance to dig into some of the other stuff that we were planning to, but we will on Thursday in our live panel. So be sure to sign up for that. It's going to be a great conversation with some really amazing experts. It's going to be a packed discussion. There's going to be 3 total panelists, so there's going to be a lot coming out at you. So be sure to sign up and get ready for that. And be sure to come with your questions, because we are going to have a Q&A session set aside so that you can ask these SEO experts your questions. So if there's a specific problem that you're dealing with, be sure to sign up and come in and ask it. And we'll be sure to get to that as quickly as we can during that webinar. And also be sure to follow us on social here on LinkedIn and on YouTube. And so that way you don't miss any of our future Birdeye Lives. We've got streams coming up, we've got them lined up through the summer. We're going to be talking about all kinds of AI, SEO, digital marketing, online reputation. It's going to be a jam-packed summer, so you don't want to miss that. So be sure to follow us. And so thank you, Avtar, for joining us. It was an absolute pleasure to have you on, and we're going to have you back on, I'm sure, over the summer as we continue this conversation about the world of SEO and how AI is going to play a role in it.
Pleasure, Justin. Thank you for having me.
Amazing. And thank you all for joining us today, and we will see you next time on the next episode of Birdeye Live.
Birdeye makes creating a stellar online reputation, improving customer experience, and growing your local business a breeze. Packed with easy-to-use scalable tools, our all-in-one platform is ready to power